Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. You remember when, right? Once. What was the name of that real estate fellow that found the property and assessed it before it came on the market? What was his name? Do you remember his name?
Krishna. He actually, Maharaj, he left his body when he went to Mexico.
He went to Mexico.
He drowned there.
Really? Well, here's what I remember. He was like close to some of the devotees, maybe you and your family, and he knew that we were looking, and he found a property that wasn't yet on the market, and he suggested we go look at it, and we went and looked at it, and I remember very clearly saying, before the end of the day, make an offer.
Go get it. That's all I know.
Well, that was make the offer. They have to say yes or whatever, negotiate that. Way back when. And before that, Subhuti Krishna and all that stuff. You remember all that, right? Of course. Okay, we're at part 5 of 6. And the topic, as you see on the screen, Kaliya-damana-lila. Damana means he subdued the Kaliya serpent. And where we ended yesterday, because I don't know if it's a good idea to review the whole, how we got here to part 5. But the wives of the Kaliya serpent, they were also serpents, and they came before Krishna after having decorated his hoods with his lotus feet, and they offered wonderful prayers. There's a very long section of prayers, and they just finished their prayers. And so what's next? Two things are remaining. Kaliya is going to try to speak because his mouths are bloodied and he's nearly unconscious, and he's not the same vengeful, hurtful Kaliya that wanted to bite Krishna and all those things. So he speaks, we'll hear, he speaks things that are very simple. Sanatan Goswami says, he says some things that are just kind of repeating in a simpler form what his very eloquent wives said. And then Krishna's going to, then Krishna, he's preparing Krishna. He says to Krishna, you can do with me whichever you like. He's in this really surrendered mood. I mean, we know what he wants, but he wants what Krishna wants. Putting his own want in the secondary and what Krishna wants in the primary position. And right away, Krishna is going to instruct him. Get out of town. Get out of the river Jamuna and make this river Jamuna fit for the residents of Vrindavan and for the cows, and make it nice for them. Service, it's a service. It's not just get out, but it's make it a nice service for the Brijvasis. So we've been hearing some nice recordings. Here's one of those nice recordings. A prayer to the crusher of Kaliya. Krishna is the crusher. So the prayer to Krishna. And let's see if the technology is going to work. Yeah, wow.
Damodara mama mana pannaga pina gogo Damodara mama mana pannaga pina gogo Dushtasiri kutilavanane
Dushtashibe kutilavanai shobhayatyeshalokam
Tadvikrantastvamudidapada Dvandva pankeruhankam
Vikrantasthvam uditapada Dvandva pankeruhankam
Kulvandari Kaliya-damana-lila Tandave dandayami
O Lord Krishna, with its crooked motions and the sharp fangs of its wicked desires, snakes don't move in a straight line, they wiggle. The great snake of my mind torments the entire world. O all-powerful Lord, O crusher of Kaliya, please punish the snake, that snake is mine, with your dancing. Please place on it the mark of your lotus feet. Rupa Goswami's poetry. So Kaliya begins his prayers. You see the number of prayers is not too many, 54 to 59. And then Krishna begins speaking. And when Krishna begins speaking, that's what he's doing. He's pointing in the direction of where he wants him to leave. Go back to where you came from, Ramanaka Lake. Thus praised by the Naga Patnis, Krishna then released Kaliya, who fell unconscious. Kaliya slowly regained his sensory functions. Breathing loudly and painfully, he humbly addressed Krishna. In the first two verses here. Krishna then gave up afflicting Kaliya, this is commentary, who was weak because of the blows of Krishna's feet on his head. Then Krishna suddenly jumped off his head and stood before him. Sanatana Goswami writes, he who suffers from others' suffering, Bhagavan Krishna, left Kaliya, who had fainted, with his head broken by the blows of his feet. Though there were reasons to release him, the description of the snake in this verse shows that he had given up his evil nature completely. Being released, he had regained the functions of his senses by the dispelling force of the trance of ecstasy. Guess who this one is? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He's such a rasika bhakta, he just sees rasa everywhere. Oh, this is Sanatana Goswami, wow. Hari means he who has taken away the contamination of false pride, and so on. because Krishna is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the most attractive on account of his special mercy, and who bestows supreme bliss. So Kali's in a trance of ecstasy. Being absorbed in blissful dancing, the Lord broke Kaliya's heads. People show their bad nature through their heads. Having a broken head means he had his bad nature removed. Thus, he fainted. Murchitam, because of bliss. Again, Sanatana Goswami is giving him all these nice qualities. Kaliya, with difficulty, somehow or other offered obeisances, folding his hands together. Now, I haven't seen the Kaliya with the hands, but it's okay. Since all the limbs of his body, his is spelled wrong, were suffering pain, and thus he was not capable of offering obeisances by throwing his body down upon the ground. Plus he's in the lake, so. The serpent Kaliya said, "Our very birth as a snake has made us envious, ignorant, and constantly angry. Oh, my Lord, it is so difficult for people to give up their conditioned nature by which they identify with that which is unreal." Commentary. Kaliya was unable to compose original prayers to the Lord, and thus he paraphrased some of the prayers offered by his wives. You see the cowherd boys in the background there cheering Krishna on. Thinking the Lord would be pleased, he spoke words similar to theirs. It's very clever, because they're very elevated personalities. Vishwanath writes, since Krishna, the Kaliya may be saying, since there is the accepting of the asat, attachment, hatred, and so on, even by intelligent people, despite understanding it to be unfavorable, so what to speak then of such foolish persons as ourselves? What fault do I have? He just listed some faults, but oh, Supreme Creator, it is you who generated this universe with an arrangement of the material modes. The wives of the Kaliya serpent said something similar. You manifest various species with varied sensory and physical strength. Again, paraphrasing what they said. Among all the species within your material creation, we serpents are by nature always enraged. How can we possibly give up this conditioning on our own? Hint, they can't, but Krishna has taken those qualities from him by the touch of his lotus feet. Of course, it wasn't just the touch of his lotus feet, he was pounding his heads with his feet. So much that his heads were smashed and bloodied. He was very envious serpent. Kaliya. O independent Lord Bhagavan, such actions are dependent on you. By your will alone can we do anything. Thus, what can low persons like us say about this? How can we give up the illusion of being angry? We cannot do it on our own. If you make us give it up, then it can be given up. Krishna, for giving up Maya, you should worship me. Kaliya, but we are bewildered by your Maya, and due to this, we don't worship you. Kaliya goes on. You are the actual cause of freedom from illusion. Please arrange for us whatever you consider proper, whether it be mercy or punishment. Now notice in the background, there's the cowherd boys stretched out on the ground and cows stretched out on the ground. And I thought they were revived. This artist got a little mixed up. Since I cannot give up this nature on my own, you should do something. Do as you wish. Manya say, you know the power of your Maya and my miserable position. You should give mercy because you are the supreme independent. And thus, you can also punish me. So the blank slate, and Krishna is going to speak. And here, another name for Krishna is this Kaliya-damana-lila. Bhagavan Kaliya-damana-lila. We're going to see that term multiple times, so see where it fits right into the verse. Shukadeva Goswami is speaking. Kaliya-damana-lila, he who is acting like a human being. Shukadeva Goswami said, after hearing Kaliya's words, the Supreme Personality Godhead, who was acting in the role of a human being, replied, "O serpent, you may not remain here any longer. Go back to the ocean immediately, accompanied by your retinue of children, wives, other relatives, and friends. Let this river be enjoyed by the cows and humans." There was, going back to a section when Krishna jumped into the Kaliya lake, there's a very detailed, our acharyas give it, it's not in the verses of the Bhagavatam, but the acharyas gave detailed descriptions of what it was like where Kaliya lived. So here's a few points that I remember. One is this place where the water was still was 8 miles long, but it didn't purposely, by design, it didn't already extend all the way to Mathura, because the people in Mathura would have had to poison water instead of Jamuna water. So this water was stagnant in one sense. It wasn't moving, flowing like the rest of the Jamuna. And there were a couple of reasons why. One is there was very, 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 there was 3 varies, very deep. And so there's a portion, the very deep portion, the water didn't flow like the rest of the river. And Kaliya, had a mystic art, our acharyas say. And the mystic art was he could build structures with water. If Jala Shakti or Jala Stamba. Very good. You have a good memory. But I don't have a good memory. I said it, but I don't have a good memory. Jala Stamba. Stamba means like grew to Stamba, columns. So he knew how to make solid water solid, and with that water solid, he built a palace for himself. Woo, woo, woo. Because he had, and the others lived in holes. The snakes lived in holes, deep, deep, deep down. And, I don't know what all they did for the long duration of time that they were there. We'll hear about that from the next chapter. But, they were venomous, and so they emitted venom, and the venom made the water poisonous so that other people would leave them alone. Because they were envious, they wanted people to leave them alone. So it worked. And so in very deep. So they had to vacate. It's an eviction notice. You're my devotee, so you're going to comply with whatever I want. So, move along. Now he says, go back to the ocean. And there's some detail. Some people say, the people in Fiji say, Ramanaka Lake, Kaliya was previously from Fiji. That's what the Fiji people say. And Kaliya serpent, or Kaliya Krishna, is a celebrated deity in Fiji, a popular deity in Fiji. So whether it's so or not so, I don't know what scripture says, but I know what Fiji people say. They have nice deities of Krishna dancing on the hoods of the Kaliya serpent. So here comes these two acharyas giving something like 8 different meanings of Karya Manushaha. Here's one. Though difficult for Brahma or Shiva to do, Krishna was able to punish Kaliya just by using a human form, Karya Manushaha. He did not hold his Shankha and Chakra for this act. Human-like. Second meaning. Karya can also mean pastime. Thus, Karya Manushaha can mean he who takes the form of a human for performing sweet pastimes. That's a nice picture of a 4-armed baby. Wow. Big surprise for Devaki and Vasudeva. Wow, check our child out, 4 arms. That was the artist. Anyway. Third meaning, Karya Manushaha can mean the Lord who performs activities, Karya, among humans, Manushaha. Fourth meaning, Manushaha can mean the Supreme Lord by whom everyone is made fortunate, Karya or Sampada, or fortune or wealth. The Lord does this by disseminating his own pure devotional service and love of Godhead. Looks like a Sankirtan party down below. Krishna's inspiring everyone. Meaning number 6, he spread his prema or karya to all people. So notice this painting on the left side. There's Kaliya with his retinue, his wives and children and everybody. And off they go to Ramanaka Lake, where he came from. And Nanda is there embracing Krishna, and Balaram is right there on his shoulder and wants to keep in the act. And so they're so happy that Krishna is safe. And, they're not so much recognizing, wow, Krishna just purified this creature by dancing on his hoods. And there's Krishna gesturing. He has devotees, Manushaha, worthy of respect, Arya, by even Brahma. Ka means small. To make them happy, you should not remain here, O snake. It is improper to remain here. Karya Manushaha instructed Kaliya. So he's just interchanging Kaliya-damana-lila is for Krishna's name. Go back to the ocean immediately, along with your children, wives, and relatives. Let this river be enjoyed by the cows and humans. The Supreme Lord then said, anyone who remembers my command to you and narrates this account at sunrise and sunset, a little after sunset, but I'm sure it still counts, will never be afraid of you. That's for sure. Next verse. One who bathes in this lake and offers its water to the demigods, or observes a fast and worships and remembers me, like on Ekadasi, it counts too, right? Is sure to become free from all sins. We'll see some photographs shortly of the place where the Kadamba tree where Krishna climbed up, and the whole scene where the lake, the Kaliya lake, was, where this pastime occurred. There's a nice Kaliya deity, Kaliya Krishna deity. The glory is that by touching you with my feet, you were punished by me. This glory will remain as long as the moon and stars exist. From the words, one who recites this pastime will not obtain reason to fear from you. It is understood that these two verses, 61, 62, are mantras for driving out serpents. In case you have that problem, now you know what to do. There are similar mantras in the Rig Veda for driving away serpents. Kaliya. Since the lake has been contaminated with poison by us, how can the humans and animals use it now? The Lord offers Kaliya a blessing in order to purify the lake. Just by his say-so, check it out. Krishna said, by offering water or bathing at this place, one becomes free from the effects of poisonous water. If one fasts on Ekadasi at this place, thinks of me, and worships me, he becomes free of three types of sin, along with the desires as well. That's a nice benediction. So by his say-so, the waters became potable. To be continued. Pretty short, huh? So I'm going to embellish this with something that comes up later. Many of you know what comes up later. Besides part 6, that comes up later. But when the pastime is completed, Krishna had another lila after the pastime was completed. And the pastime was, he had been in the water for so long, his body was cold. And so he made a request of the sun to become as powerful as 10 suns. And he climbed up a hill called Dwadasha Aditya Tila. And he got warm on that hill. And that's the hill where the Madan Mohan temple was built by Sanatana Goswami. Celebrated place, known by that name for that reason. I mean, it's definitely an incline. It takes, a number of steps going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. But sanctified by Krishna being there. So here is what's part of what's coming up. What's coming up is how Kaliya got there in the first place, and the commentary doesn't say how he came to know. I wanted to know how he came to know, but he came to know. We heard this yesterday. After he had stolen the offerings meant for Garuda, then Garuda became very angry and went chasing. And don't get Garuda angry at you. You got a big problem. So with his talons, he was trying to grab Kaliya. Kaliya with his fangs was trying to bite Garuda. And Garuda is so strong. With even his wings, he was just making it difficult for him to survive. So he tried going here, tried going there. And he somehow knew, somehow he found out it's not clear. Somehow he knew that there was this one place in the river Jamuna where a great sage had been doing meditation. We heard this yesterday. The sage that was doing meditation underwater became very angry with Garuda because Garuda came to that place to eat some fish. And when he saw Garuda eating the fish, he cursed Garuda. If you come back here, you're dead. Commentary. You can't curse Garuda. An eternal associate of Krishna. Sorry, Charlie. It's not, you can't, that's it. You can't do that. You can do that, but it's not going to have any effect. But because it was a Brahmana, Garuda complied. So he didn't come back. So that was a safe place for Kaliya. So that's where he went to escape the punishment of Garuda. And there he stayed and did his nefarious activities, making the waters of the Kaliya lake, making the waters of the Jamuna impossible for a long period of time. So that comes in the next chapter, 17. We'll get there eventually, but not this visit. That's it. Celebrated, the Krishna's childhood pastimes are just the storyline itself is very charming, easy to remember. Those of you that have children narrate the stories to children, and you're like, say it again, say it again. It's so sweet. And at the same time, there's teachings, like one of the teachings that we heard was the benefit of a particle of dust from the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. What to speak of the Supreme Lord placing his feet on one's head? What to speak of dancing on one's head? That may not sound so nice, but it's really nice. And so, how much mercy! When reading this story a number of times, each time I read it, I can't help think, how hard was Kaliya's envy, dancing and dancing, and not just like touching, but dancing and dancing and smashing and smashing. Because Krishna has a way of making his body very light or making his body very heavy, and it was so heavy. His head was crushed. So while the mercy of Krishna's lotus feet is a major attraction for devotees of the Lord, getting one's head smashed by Krishna's lotus feet, punishment is mercy and mercy is punishment. Either way. We had this nice discussion in our my morning class about difficulties that come and how we're to handle those difficulties. How do you process hardships? Anyway, that's another topic. The wives of Kaliya didn't complain. Kaliya didn't complain. Why did you do this to me? Because of your ignorance and enviousness and your diabolical nature. That's why Krishna, and he was relieved altogether of not only the reactions, but even the tendency. Like, no more tendency. Gone. He's got a serpent body without the tendency of a serpent. Like, one of the questions that came yesterday was, by good association, we can be very uplifted. We attend a seminar or a retreat or something, and you feel cleansed and lifted, and wait a while, and things go back. So how to stay? Well, a lot of effort and a lot of mercy, and then where it comes to the stage of pure devotional service, where there's nothing else. And as long as there's something else, then there's residual effect, and there's returning to that former position. That's the realm of duality. And there is a place where there's no duality, and that's at the lotus feet of Krishna. And one who attains the lotus feet of Krishna doesn't need to go somewhere. Just stay at the lotus feet of Krishna. Stay in that mood, the wholesome, natural, healthy mood of loving service. I can't help it. I'll just say one more thing and end. Can't help but I've spent like a good many hours on this chapter 29 of Canto 3 and the topic for respect, and what it takes to get beyond what's the obstacle, and what it takes to get beyond the obstacle. And so there's steps, and then there's the place of shelter, where there's not just a step, it's just that's our natural home. So Kapila Dev says that in the very beginning of the chapter, and he says at the very end of the chapter. And essentially, it's really simple. He, Kapila Dev, or a incarnation of the Supreme Lord, is very pleased by such a devotee, and he gives shelter and protection to such a devotee. So it's the shelter and protection of the Supreme Lord that whatever influences may be out there, it doesn't touch the devotee, because the shelter and protection of the Supreme Lord. And there are scriptures in different ways. There's different pastimes, but it's the nature of being in a relationship with Krishna. So it's personalism, and that the activities taken in that way, the emphasis in chapter 29 is not just the Supreme Lord, but the Supreme Lord who's in the heart of all devotees, and therefore all devotees, because disrespecting a devotee is disrespecting the Lord in the heart of that devotee. That's the cause of disrespecting another devotee, is disrespect of the Lord. That's the disease, the unnatural state. Therefore, the complete state of pure devotion is where the personality of Godhead, in this case it's Kapila, he's very pleased because someone has given up such tendency. There's many nice narrations. I'm really looking forward to narrating the narrations because it embellishes the principle in such a way it makes it really clear. And then there are some persons that just don't get it. And when the persons just don't get it, then they suffer. Even a virtuous person or a dharmic person or a something person, if they don't get to that stage where they see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the heart of another living being and treat them with the same respect they would treat the deity, then Kapila doesn't say nice things about such persons. They're imitation people. They're imitation worshippers. Whew. I strike fear in their heart with death when they hold some idea of separateness, bina drik. Like he says some heavy things and then gives the cure. It's nice. It's nice to know how to what the goal is, and it's far, but it's nice to know it's doable, and there's a process, and there's somebody helping us. Okay, let's see if there's some discussion. Varsana had her hand up first.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I noted one thing. So here you spoke about Kaliya-damana-lila. And in the morning class, you were quoting Madhvacharya.
Yeah.
And he said, the Lord is known as Krittivasa,
Yeah.
which is the same meaning as this.
Yeah.
So I was appreciating
There's
how...
a nice devotee of that name.
Yes.
You know him. You don't know him.
Kevala Bhakti Prabhu?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just a comment. The question is, the prayer that you quoted at the start, Kamam Damodara Mamamana, I was noting that Rupa Goswami, first of all, he describes the mind, which has fangs, sharp fangs, and yes.
Oh. Stop. Shh. Okay, go ahead.
The sharp fangs with his wicked desires, and then he's asking for Krishna to crush him, punish the snake with your dancing. And so I was thinking, at my stage, first of all, even to notice and observe the ways my mind is working, the ways my senses are going away, that is obstacle number one. Mm-hmm. I may not even know what's my issue, the biggest, what's the elephant in the room. The second is to even acknowledge it. And then comes the step of approaching the Lord and then asking him to punish, like Rupa Goswami says here, there is just, there is fear. I mean, I think I can speak for myself. When I notice this is what is stopping me, or at least this is the obstacle at the moment, what happens, how... I don't have a proper question in my mind, but I'm thinking that there is fear to even approach the Lord, to ask him to take away that attachment or whatever that may be.
What Rupa Goswami is saying, I'm going to comment on your comment. Yeah. What Rupa Goswami, you can hold the microphone, because you're going to probably want to say something after I say something. What Rupa Goswami is saying here, Kaliya says at the end. That is, on my own, I've been doing what I've been doing just because I'm a snake with a body that does these things, and okay, I got my hand in the cookie jar. I am caught doing some stuff I shouldn't be doing, and thank you, because on my own I couldn't overcome it. I couldn't even recognize it. What to speak of overcome it? These 2 points that you made. So Kaliya is exemplifying, and Rupa Goswami is such a humble Vaishnav and poetic also, that he can, attribute his mind to the characteristics of a serpent. Crooked, it's right there, Kutila, crooked. No, you want to add?
What to do?
You do, you just go. Yes, go on hearing, and more than just go on hearing. You enter into the mood. Like, that we'll go to, because I've been mentioning this, and I plan to mention it over the weekend too. Radhik Raman's class was super fantastic. Super fantastic. And not just the pastime and relish the pastime, but why is the author, what's the purpose, what's the message that the author would like to give us? What's the message that Krishna would like to give us by performing this pastime? We can identify ourselves as being Kaliya-like, or our minds as here, Rupa Goswami. Now, to your question, what do? You do this. You make it a prayer, because we can't do it. We can make an effort, but we can't do it on our own. We have to make efforts, and we have to get mercy. And then comes the question, how do you get mercy? Well, you offer prayers. That's the starting. That was one of the answers that someone was asking me recently. How do I blah, blah, blah. Find prayers that are in that mood, and then immerse yourself in the pastime, and then something happens. The coverings are removed, and you become lifted, and then you can see things that you couldn't see before vividly. Of the obstacle and that what's inside beyond the obstacle. I mean, it's a journey, but that's what to do, and with sincerity. We discussed it this morning. We're a long way, and yesterday morning, we're a long way from the goal. Whew. And then devotional service begins. Okay, Mukunda.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I imagine some version of this will come up again in the Vaishnava etiquette seminar. Actually, I've heard Jai Jagannath Prabhu quote this particular section of Kaliya's response a few times and he kind of jokingly states that it's very relatable, which is true, because Kaliya is saying, this is my nature. I'm a snake. I can't do anything. Can you please change me, because I can't change myself. And kind of in relation to that prayer, I guess I'm wondering how much are we actually able to change ourselves, our karmic nature, versus how much needs to be done by Krishna?
Well, what you're asking is one of the topics during the weekend, but I'll just give you a sneak preview. The sneak preview is this. There's Markandeya was the son of a certain Muni whose name you would remember because you have a good memory and I don't. Huh? Mukunda. So Mukunda had no sons, and finally he had a son. And then he had a chart done to see, and the chart said, your son is going to die at the age of 16. So Mukunda is a Brahmana, and there's a little chart you'll see. There's, according to astrology, there's some karma that's light and it can be changed, some karma that's difficult but it can be changed, and some karma that can't be changed. Drita karma, something like that. So his Markandeya's, what's his name again? Mrikanda. His son, son, had the karma couldn't be changed, but he changed his karma by mercy. So what he trained his son to do, in principle, was, this is the source of this is, there's two Puranas that tell the same story that's different than the Bhagavatam story. But so he trained his son when he was very little. When you see someone who's senior to you, because he's little, so everyone's senior, then go run up to them, fall at their feet, pay your obeisances, and ask for their blessings. And so his son got really into it. He'd follow behind people walking and grab their dhoti and fall at their feet. Please give your blessings. He became a lover of doing that. And then he turned 16. So the story goes, when he turns, so your question is, what are some things that we can do? There are some things, even in the most extreme sense, if it's not changeable. Mercy. No, in this case it's Krishna, but Krishna mercy came through through the sadhus, to the elders. Yamaraj came and couldn't take him away because he had these blessings. There's a phrase, may you live a long life. What's the phrase? Yeah. There, say it again louder. Ayushman Bhava. My memory is so bad. But that's the right phrase. So that blessing, commonly, when some elderly person, a young person, please give your blessings, may you live a long life. So because he had all those blessings from sadhus and elders, Yamaraj couldn't do anything. So then Yamaraj decided, I'm going to bring it to the court. He brought this young 16-year-old boy before Lord Brahma, and he was going to plead his case before the judge. Before he got a chance to plead his case, the boy ran up to the Lord Brahma and fell at his feet, asked for his blessings, and Ayushman. So, that was it. And then the narration goes, and he's still alive somewhere. He had a long life. He got all these blessings. So, your question was, to what extent is this something we can do? To what extent to change our destiny or karma or fate or circumstances or whatever, our nature, versus how much are we dependent? So there's, generally speaking, it's both. It's not one versus the other. It's both are needed. Effort and mercy. Mother Yasoda binding Krishna. Effort and mercy. Effort and mercy. Effort's required. Mercy is required. And then anything's possible. But the little boy, was from a little boy up to, he wasn't, at least there's no indication in the Purana that he was doing it purposefully. I want to counter this curse or my destiny. He was doing it because his father said. And he started to like it because it felt good. Taking that humble position before others, it's right. And when something is right, you feel it. When something's not right, you feel it. If you're not a dull person, you feel it. That's one of the comments that Jiva Goswami makes in this whole thing that we're discussing, the respect topic. Jiva Goswami writes, that although the stage of bhakti brings one to the position of ecstasy, because it's our nature to be there, but even if we're not there yet, even if we have contamination of heart and we're not there yet, even in the practice stage, where it's not real bhakti, because that's what the whole chapter is saying, it's not real bhakti yet. It's something, but it's karma mishra bhakti. It's not real bhakti, because real bhakti is anyabhilasha shunyam jnana karma jnanavartam. It's not, that's real bhakti. Or Brahmabhuta stage, that nice verse. It's not real bhakti. Then devotional service begins. From the Brahmabhuta. Nasoshati, nakanksati, samaksarvishu bhuteshu, mad bhaktim labhate param. Then devotional service begins. So Jiva Goswami writes, and if until that stage, if one should feel some joy, and if one doesn't feel joy, it's because they're not doing real devotional service yet. So what should that person do? Which is like your question. It's another way of asking your question. If you're not there yet, what do you do? You practice with that intention. You do the Karma Mishra Bhakti program, and you worship the deity with the intention that may that stage come that I can feel the presence of the deity within and within others, and then that's devotional service. And until then, it's practice or imitation. So, it's heavy, but it's true. I think it's what the explanation of devotional service is, the title of the chapter. And when one attains that, the Supreme Personality of Godhead looks and smiles. If one is trying, then he's also smiling, but it's very special. Anyway, that's an answer to your question. Yeah, we'll get you.
So in one of the slides, it mentioned about the 3 sins.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on what those 3 sins are?
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. I'll have to do some homework because I don't have the answer. I was wondering it myself. Thanks for catching it. Can you make note and send me a little note that I'm going to research this? You remember the slide? Okay.
Another link to something I've heard from Radhikaraman Prabhu on this point of smashing the head. He was explaining how the head is something that we're very proud of.
Yes.
So IQ is such a big thing. How much IQ do you have? And eloquent speech is something else that comes from that part of the body. And then he was also saying people spend so much on the cosmetic industry just to make that part of the body look beautiful. So just wanted to share that. And a question.
His head was a mess. It's 1,000 heads were a bloody mess, but purified.
Guru Maharaj, yesterday you were explaining how the Nagapatnis, at the end of their prayers, they make a petition for their husband to be saved.
Released.
Yes.
Don't dance on him more. He'll die.
And today we are hearing Kaliya. His prayer is, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It's almost like Lord Chaitanya, you want to kill me, you want to, crush me, release me. So it seems that the Nagapatnis are at the level of mixed devotion. And Kaliya here is going from like negative to pure devotion.
Well, be careful. You listen to the essence of what they're saying, and the place from which they're saying it is not a place of mixed devotion. Now, their position is, the request is protection. So taking shelter of the Supreme Lord as one's protector, that's not mixed devotion. That's a form of surrender. Now, their logic is, if you dance it more and he dies, then we'll be without a husband, we'll be without a protector. And that's, for a lady, that's not a safe position. So please give us our protector. Anyway, it can argue that's mixed. And on the other hand, all of what they said, so be careful. All of what they said was transcendental. 100%. Understanding the contradictions that are within the Supreme Lord, and he's the resting place of all these things. Whew. It wasn't just scholarship, it's devotion. No. You're making a statement that says it looks like Kaliya came from, a really bad place, and he became very elevated. He certainly became very elevated because the contamination was completely taken away. Now, in one sense, he gave it up. In another sense, it was taken away. Like this question Mukunda's asking. How much of it was he gave it up, and how much of it was taken away? He was ready to give it up, but he wasn't able to give it up. That is something that happens with most sadhakas. There's some things that we just let go, and there's some things we hold on to. And sometimes don't even recognize we're holding on to them. And then, it may take getting our head smashed. Sometimes that happens too. Okay, so you want to add something? There was a comment. Do you have a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I want to share my appreciation for being able to hear this. This has been one of my favorite section of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Really?
Very relatable.
Have a conversation with Jai Jagannath. You know Jai Jagannath?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I was just reflecting as I was hearing the potency of hearing. When I initially heard these prayers of Kali, I'm like, yeah, that's my conditioned nature. What can I do? You all just bear whatever my, stuff that's coming from me to you. But now I could see, whatever for a decade or so, hearing from you, I can see there's a little bit of change in the heart from that mood of, okay, whatever, to Krishna, I really need you. Other than that, I just don't have any way to come out of this. So I'm just so appreciating that. Yesterday we were saying this touch of Krishna's lotus feet and touch of pure devotee through hearing. How fortunate we are. On that note of conditioned nature, Guru Maharaj, I was thinking about...
On that note, what?
Conditioned nature. Conditioned
nature, okay.
So I can see that for myself. The heart and intentions are changing, but the externals, the lack of refinement in the speech or actions is just continuing even though the heart is changed. So I'm thinking like the way I'm thinking, yeah, please forgive me, I'm like this. Maybe I need to start looking in the same way other devotees also, because they are also struggling and they may be in the same stage of, going through this suffering inside. They have all the right intentions, but unfortunately, that's not coming, as we desire. So just thinking, if somehow all of us can develop this, the kind of understanding and appreciating and being there for each other. Yeah, I see you. I'm right there. Somehow that was just coming out of this, Guru Maharaj.
Let's try one of us. All of us. But you know what? It's up to each of us, each one of us, to one of the messages in this whole presentation is to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who says that the refinement discrimination between what is to be done and how it is to be done and the tone and the time and the this and the that, it takes a spiritual intelligence that's gifted by the spiritual master, and otherwise good intentions can be hurtful. The good intention isn't hurtful, but the way that it comes out can be hurtful or misunderstood and read in the wrong way. So there are ways to say things and times to say things that it's not hurtful. Here's another one. I'm looking at Varsana. The Madhu Samhita verse, Satyam Bruya Priyam Bruya. So speak the truth pleasingly. Don't speak, even if it's true, don't speak it if it's not pleasing. That's the first half. There's another half, but along with that quote, there's going to be a story. It's not a scriptural story. It's a moral story. There was a king once upon a time. There was a king, and the king heard about a very skilled astrologer. So he consulted the astrologer. Please read my chart. And the astrologer read his chart and told him the truth. And the truth was, your family members and kith and kin are going to die before you. And the king didn't want to hear it. He was too attached to his family members. And so he said, I don't believe you, this is not true. And he ordered him to be put in prison. Then he still wanted to know. So he found another astrologer and consulted the other astrologer, who read the same thing in his chart, but just said it differently. I can see from your chart, you're going to live a very long life. You're going to live such a long life that you'll outlive the other family members. And the king was very pleased, and he rewarded him nicely. And he just said the thing, knowing the person in such a same thing, but in the way that was pleasing. And how to do that when there are circumstances when something should be said. How to say the thing truthfully, but pleasing. It's not easy. Not easy. There's another Mahabharata story. We'll tell that later. It's a nice one. It's from Karna Parva. Now you all want to hear the story. Here's the story. It's a short version, and there's a very detailed version with lots of illustrations, and it's very nice. So, Karna became the commander-in-chief after the demise of Bhishma Dev. And Karna now he had his chance. He was going to show everybody that he's Mr. Perfect. So he was smashing left and right and sideways. And he was after Arjuna. But before he got Arjuna, he hit thousands of Pandava soldiers and this and that, and I'm Mr. Macho, I can do it. And then he found Yudhishthira before he found Arjuna, because Arjuna was on another part of the battlefield. So he beat him so severely, wounded him severely, and Yudhishthira had to be taken. He broke his chariot. And so his chariot driver found another chariot and took him off the battlefield and took him to a place where he could tend to the wounds of Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira was feeling, sorry, ashamed that he's the king, and he just got whooped by Karna, who's a boastful son of a gun. So he's in his tent, and into his tent comes Krishna and Arjuna, because Arjuna heard that Yudhishthira was harmed. So Arjuna turned to Krishna. So let's get Karna. And Krishna said, "Wait a minute! Before you get Karna, you have to see your brother, because he got hurt by Karna. So let's go see your brother first." That was Krishna and Arjuna. So they came to see Yudhishthira. And Yudhishthira, when he saw Arjuna, he was really happy. "Oh, you've come to bring good news. You've killed Karna." He said, "No, I didn't come to tell the good news that I've killed Karna. I heard that you're in difficulty." And then speech that wasn't nice. Now, between Yudhishthira and he's the elder, and Arjuna always looked up to his elder and did whatever his elder would say. And he knew that was their relationship. But Yudhishthira, started speaking harshly, really severely harshly to Arjuna. "What kind of warrior are you?" And da 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 da. You have all these celestial weapons, and you haven't used your celestial weapons to finish Karna. You should give your Gandiva bow to somebody else who can use it. Arrows of harsh words. Arjuna was seething. And he turned to Krishna and said, no, he didn't turn to Krishna. He went for his sword. He was going to chop Yudhishthira's head. So Krishna asked him, "What are you doing?" "I've taken a vow that anyone said anything about my Gandiva bow and suggested I give it up, I would kill them. I have to keep my vow." So then a long discussion about when you should keep vows and when you don't have to keep vows, and how to keep the vow. So the how to keep the vow, it was like a whole lesson on morality of vows. And then here's what you should do. Go insult him. Speak harshly to him. And it's worse than death. For one who is honored, dishonor is worse than death. Go dishonor him. So that's what Arjuna did. And then fall at his feet and apologize, and he'll forgive you. Important. So he did, and he insulted him so badly. It was worse than death. So Arjuna, after he did this, he felt terrible. So he went to get his sword to cut him, to chop his own head off. Krishna asked him, "Where are you going?" And then he said, "Yeah, I'm going to kill myself. I just This violation is too much. He hadn't even asked for forgiveness yet. He was still overwhelmed with speaking harsh words. Harsh speech is very, very terrible. So Krishna said, see what happened next. Look at the sequence. Krishna, you did exactly what I said, but you didn't go ask for forgiveness yet. Go ask for forgiveness. And then Krishna went and spoke to Yudhisthira and said to Yudhisthira, please forgive me. I'm the one that asked Arjuna to speak these words to you. Arjuna is my instrument. It's I that did it. So please forgive me for instructing Arjuna to do like that. It was a reason. But Yudhisthira felt so bad. Yudhisthira got up and left. He embraced Arjuna after Arjuna paid obeisance and said, you shouldn't ask for forgiveness for speaking harsh words. Everything you said was true. He said things like, we're in this situation because of your addiction to gambling. You gambled away a kingdom. You gambled away your wife. You were in the forest for 13 years. We went through all this hardship because of you. What kind of leader are you? Harsh words. People say, there's nothing wrong. I'm just speaking the truth. You've heard that thing. Just speaking the truth. What's wrong? So Yudhisthira got up and started to leave. He was going to the forest. To Krishna. That's when Krishna ran after him and said, no. And it was, forgive me. So then the light went on for Yudhisthira and Arjuna. Both Yudhisthira said, both Arjuna and I were behaving in a very foolish way, but you protected us because you're with us always as our protector. Krishna's instigating all of this anyways. Behind the scenes, the unseen hand of Krishna is manipulating all this for their edification, purification, because they have love for Krishna. They have nothing but love for Krishna, and Krishna has nothing but love for them. And put them through this big ordeal where they're threatening each other, insulting each other. So Krishna could give some nice instruction, and everything ends happy at the end. That doesn't, in the material world, doesn't always seem to end so happy. And but there are consequences for harsh speech. Both the person who's spoken to and the one who speaks it. There's consequences. And there's lots of histories of those consequences also. We'll hear some of that. How to have proper respect. And if there's something needs to be spoken, let it be done in such a way that it's done pleasingly. And if it's not, you don't know how to say it pleasingly, then don't say it. Let somebody that can say it pleasingly say it if you don't know how to say it. But there's lots and lots of lessons. Don't speak harshly. Don't speak ill of any person. That's a lesson. The lesson of respect. And if we don't have respect, what do we have? We have chaos. We don't have relationships. We have chaos. And we're coming from a place of not being cultured. Not cultured in the sense of these elevated Vaishnavas are cultured. There's no material, energy moving in their body, in their system, their consciousness. So they're very capable of speaking properly. We'll hear some more. How Prabhupada did that with different devotees, different parents of devotees that were like. My parents weren't like that. It was pretty simple. But some parents wasn't simple. Okay. Do you want a Jivana? Sachi Sutta, and then we're going to end.
harsh speech, Marge, topic of harsh speech. My observation is that when circumstances are very intense,
Yeah.
especially like you gave the example of Yudhishthir, he was put in a especially embarrassing situation, which led to him having an outburst with someone so dear to him, his younger brother Arjun. So I've noticed that in our lives, when circumstances are challenging, it trigger us in a way that harsh speech comes out. It can be very destructive. So what would be some instructions, or what would be some...
It's our whole seminar. Our whole seminar. Just listen to the seminar.
Yeah.
You take shelter of what Kapila says. The principle, and then there's steps to get to that principle. The principle is respect of the Lord who's within the heart of the respect the living entity, because they've chosen, if it's a devotee, they've chosen to try, redirecting away from Krishna towards Krishna. And then there's shortcomings, and we look at their shortcoming. We get close enough, we look at shortcomings. Mm-hmm. And it's all grades of persons. Low, beginners, medium, upper, and then rah, 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 rah. And we may not say it, but we feel it. And that's how it begins. And then it escalates or expands. So respect to the super soul, to create the soul and the super soul. Get on the spiritual platform, please. And then, to get on the spiritual, it's like, but Maya is covering me, so how can I offer prayers to you?
Yeah.
You make effort and you seek mercy. The seek mercy is those who are superiors. You have respect for those who are superiors. And somehow or another. Now, supposing there's a superior who is harsh. Yudhishthir was his superior. Yeah. Look what he did. Arjuna is ready to kill him because of his vow. Kshatriya. In Krishna, you have to uphold your vow, but you don't have to kill him. You can better than kill him. Speak harshly. Go ahead, offend him. And then apologize. Okay, so respect to and there's ways to respect. This like, I wish the classes were longer. I wish I had more classes than 4, 5. But the schedule is what it is. It is what it is. I may go a little bit longer in my allotted time. It's a lot. It's all very important. It's like our individual Krishna consciousness and our trajectory towards pure devotional service. And then there are dealings with others. And not the bull in the china shop and knocking people out of the way because I'm Mr. So-and-so. I'm entitled because I'm Mr. So-and-so. Just ask me, I'll tell you. I'm Mr. So-and-so. And wouldn't have to be so brazen about it, but, subtle, but, it's the same thing. Not good. Okay. That's what to do.
2 thoughts, March.
2 more.
I'm thinking about the situation again with Yudhishthir, and one of the most powerful, or I would say strongest emotion that makes us do stupid stuff is shame and embarrassment, like how Yudhishthir was feeling. And in that situation, Krishna didn't instruct Yudhishthir, he instructed Arjuna to stop and try to, insult him, and then so he didn't instruct Yudhishthira, he used Arjun, and then later pacified Yudhishthira by saying it was actually me,
Yeah.
which is I find really interesting.
Yeah. I do too.
That was one
And
thing.
hearing that from Krishna, Yudhishthira was like, oh no. He's like the same thing. Don't apologize. So when he said to Arjun, don't apologize because everything you said is true. I'm an unqualified king. I'm leaving. And you said Bhima would be a better king. He can become the king. I'm leaving. I can't go on with the charade anymore. I'm an unqualified person. It pierced his heart. He was like dead, like a dead man. And Krishna revived him. So good to have Krishna as your friend, right?
He's so expert.
So it's good to have friends that are Krishna conscious.
That's
Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This chapter, Kaliya-damana,
What?
this pastime Kaliya-damana
Yeah.
is the importance is about the touch of Krishna's lotus feet.
Well, that's one thing. There's many things.
Yes, Maharaj. When I see there are two souls fortunate, one is the Kaliya, where Krishna danced on the hood, and the other soul is the Kadamba tree. How to understand the fortune of the Kadamba tree?
Oh, this is the whole of Vrindavan. Krishna's lotus feet are all over Vrindavan, not just on the Kadamba tree.
Hmm.
Ask Akrura. Right? Roll in the dust.
Hmm.
You want to hear about the Kadamba tree?
Yes, Maharaj.
I can tell. Become a Kadamba tree. Krishna may fulfill your desire. Climb up your Kadamba tree branch and jump into the Kaliya lake, and you'll feel happy.
I'll really feel happy for my head.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. But the whole of Vrindavan, Raj, it's the dust of Vrindavan mixed with Krishna's lotus feet. The dust of Vrindavan is as good as the spiritual world.
Mm-hmm.
So, Vrindavan's a special place. But don't make offense. Okay, we'll end. Srila Prabhupada ki.